Hello, my name is Gino Israel Fragoso Silva, and today I'm going to be talking to you about Google Tour Creator. Let's dive on in. So, what is Google Tour Creator? Google Tool, Google Tour Creator is a web-based tool that teachers can use to create their own VR experiences for students. What this means is that it's a tool available to anyone who has computer access, and it'll allow us to create virtual reality experiences for our own students. So, what do you need to create your own? In order to create your own, all you need is a computer, you might need a camera, and you will definitely need internet access. The reason you might need a camera is because you might be able to take your own pictures to create 360-degree pictures with. Although you may not have a 3D camera, there are applications that will let you hold your phone, spin in a little circle the way we take panoramic pictures, but create our own 360-degree images. Now, you might be asking yourself, why would you want to use this tool in the classroom? Well, you can use this tool in the classroom to help engage your students. You could find scenes from a novel. So for example, if Harry Potter takes place in London, one of your tour locations could be in London. You can have locations from historical events that the students can look around and see for themselves. You could even do it into lessons of biomes from around the world so that students could experience the different biomes that are around our planet. You could use this to have highlights of a city in a different country to compare and contrast what differences are. You could even look at biographical information from a person's life. If a student was interested in where someone was born, you could create a tour that lets those students visit those locations on their own. Even if students create their own fictional story, when they choose a setting, they could tour their own locations, or you can even have your own students create tours based on what they wrote. Now, is this just them looking around in 3D? And it's a little bit yes and no. You will be using 360-degree images, so the students are looking around. But Google Tour Creator also includes voice narration, so you could pre-record your own snippets of dialogue that once the students click on them in the Google Tour, they are read to them. The tools also include text descriptions, so if you wanted them to see something specific, there would be text. You could have points of interest to make sure that the students are looking at a location that you want them to look at, not just looking all over the place. And you can even put some image overlays, so in addition to the 360-degree images, they could still see their own regular 2D images as well. So what would your students need in order to see this? Your students would need a normal computer screen, so if they have access to Chromebooks or laptops at their school, they'd be able to use them just using a regular Chromebook. You can embed the tours in a website. Students could also use a mobile device such as a cell phone or a tablet at home, or if they have them, students could use the Google Cardboard, which is an inexpensive VR headset that they could wear on their heads to be able to turn around and see by just turning their neck. So let me show you a little bit of what one may look like. This one is about the 7 new wonders of the world. Let me head over to full screen. Now, as you can see, this is the Taj Mahal. Clicking on this right here would bring up some text. However, like I said, you could record your own audio. So if we hit the little settings icon right here, let me close this down. And if we hit the settings icon, a little pop-up, there we go. Turn on narration.
The Taj Mahal. This UNESCO World Heritage Site in Agra, India, is a jewel of Indo-Islamic architecture, an exquisite work of art, and a symbol of romance.
As we can
The
hear,
Mughal
there's
emperor
narration that happens
Shah
as soon
Jahan
as it started.
built the Taj Mahal as a tomb. The white marble mausoleum where Mumtaz Mahal and Shah Jahan are buried.
You could
An
even
ancient
tie their
stone
narration
structure
to the actual
whose outer and
locations.
inner walls are decorated with intricate.
So in order to help students who may have trouble reading or who may be English language learners, the text could be provided and you could create your own narration by pre-recording an audio clip of what's been read, and it will play whenever you click on any of these points of interest. So here we see the Jawab. We can click on the points from here so that it aims the students at the gardens, the mosque, and whenever they're ready to go, you can go to a different scene. These were created using Google Earth or Google Maps. All you have to do is select a point and drop the point there so they could spin around on their own. Now, as you can see, I am using just my computer, but students, if they had access to Google Cardboard, will be able to look around and actually be even more immersed in the locations. And again, these are all places that you can click on to do your own thing. As you can see, the Google Tours can have different scenes. So, for these 7 great wonders of the world, there's the Colosseum of Rome, which includes views of Rome, and there's all these different locations that the students could make sure that they look at. So for example, if you wanted your students to see where the spectators are, where the dungeons would be, to notice the columns, or to have some idea of what happened in the arena floor, you could create those points of interest on your own. So all you would have to do is select a picture, choose where you want to place your point of interest so that students would be able to click on them and either read on their own or hear the narration if you decided to create it that way. If you create your own narration, the only issue so far is that the audio clips have to be pre-recorded. There's no tool in the Google Creator to record your narration as you're creating the tour. But besides that, it seems like it's very simple to use and very easy. Every website that I've looked at and everywhere that's in my resources, each one includes their own how-to or their own guide to help us create our own Google Tours in our classrooms. Here we have Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, and you can see that if we just spin it around and we click on the information, there's Christ the Redeemer. This person also chose to point out the Sugarloaf Mountain, Guanabara Bay, and even the Atlantic Ocean. Google Tours are a great way to have students show their knowledge that they've gained, or a great way to engage students in a lesson so that they can see on their own and be able to experience freely what you've been trying to teach them. For example, in my classroom, we've been talking about Magellan, and if I were to create one, I would place one of the main points at the Strait of Magellan and point out things like the 2 oceans that the strait is connecting, be able to point out locations such as where the first mutiny took place, or even take them through all of the stops. Thank you. This is my presentation on Google Tour Creator, and these are my resources. Again, I encourage you to try out Google Tour Creator on your own in your classroom, because I think it would be a great way to start engaging students, and even if you are able to teach them, a great way for students to show you everything they learned and use this tool as a different way to have a presentation done. Goodbye.